Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shadow Wraith, and today I'm going to be going over my picks for the top 3 heroes of legend for the evil side in the armies of the Lord of the Rings book. Now, just bear in mind, this is my top 3. These are the guys that I love bringing, and I think they're fantastic. They're either really good for the points you pay, or do something fantastic on the battlefield. But yeah, so without further ado, let's just jump straight in. In our number 3 slot, we have got Dalamar. He is a hero of legend, of course. He wouldn't be in this list if he wasn't. And he is from the Corsairs of Umbar. The Corsairs of Umbar are an absolutely fantastic faction. I will do another faction review, an updated one for them. But I love them and I play them a lot. So, no wonder that I love this guy so much. Because, what does Dalamar bring to the table? Well, for a hero of legend, he costs 90 points. That's a big selling factor. He is cheap as chips. 90 points, that's crazy. He has got movement 6. He is fight 5, which is respectable. 3+ shoot value. He's strength 4, defense 4, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 4. He's got 2 might, 2 will, and 3 fate. So the 2 wounds sound a bit lackluster, but he has got 3 fate to try and stop wounds coming through. Fight 5 is also pretty tasty. He comes armed with a sword, thrown daggers, and smoke bombs. More on the smoke bombs later. And because of his army bonus, he is a Corsair. So if he traps someone, he's going to get +1 to wound, because all the Corsair models in this army gain the backstabbers keyword. So that strength 4 can be strength 4 +1 to wound. He can be extremely killy when he wants to. Smoke bombs. So smoke bombs. These are throwing weapons with a strength of 1, okay? But they're not made for killing. Basically, that strength of 1 just represents you throwing something and it might donk them on the head slightly. Any model hit but not slain by these weapons must immediately expend a point of will or be subject to the effects of a channeled version of the transfix magical power. That is so strong, okay? And I'll get into that in a bit. However, should Dalamar ever roll a 1 to hit with his smoke bombs, then his supplies run out and he cannot use them for the rest of the game. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But yeah, channel transfix on a hit, so he's hitting on 3s. That's crazy. He's got heroic strike and defense, so low defense, but he can go up to being wounded on 6s if you do get into a sticky situation. He's so good. He's got Bane of Kings, so he's re-rolling all failed wounds. So if you've got someone trapped, you've got 3 attacks, which is doubled on a trapped model, okay, at strength 4, +1 to wound, re-rolling failed wounds. Yeah, he can do some real damage, and trust me, he's poured quite a lot of wounds into Balrogs, and he's even with Saruman. He has if there's a hero out there, he's wounded him. He's had to go at Boromir and done some significant damage to him. He's cut Dane Ironfoot's head off. I love him so much. And he's got Stalk Unseen. So if you do need to protect him from a shooty army, he's not too hard to protect. As long as he's obscured by any piece of terrain, they can't target him with magical powers, ranged attacks, or charge him over 6 inches away. So he can, be protected quite nicely. He's got preternatural agility, so he can never be trapped while still standing. Yeah, so that's one thing not to worry about. But that is a rule you want to remember, because some people forget it. Obviously not people who play it a lot, but I have seen people forget it, and it's like, oh no, that wouldn't have been double. If you can't see why I love this guy, I don't know what will float your boat, really. 90 points for all that, I think it's just absolute steal. I think he's fantastic, and the smoke bombs are fantastic for, say, taking on trolls. They don't have will, so they can't stop it. Taking on anything like an eagle, great eagle, to when you get into going for heroes and you've got a wraith, you can sap their will, which is what a wraith wants to do anyway. Sap their will with the Knight of Umbar, who you can bring in this army, and when they've got no will, you can literally run in on a 3+, you channel transfix every turn if you get priority. It's ridiculously strong, and then it just makes him prime for being trapped, and then you've got 6 attacks, +1 to wound, re-rolling. He's very strong. He's very strong. I love him. And it's a throwing weapon, so you can yeet it as he runs into combat. Love Dalamar, but he's in our number 3 slot. So, moving on. Our number 2 slot is Suladan, the Serpent Lord. I think this model is phenomenal. I loved him when I first saw the model. I think he's brilliant. I kind of still prefer the old sculpt, if anyone remembers him. He looked really like Persian and covered in armor. He looked fantastic. But this one is still a fantastic sculpt. I need to get my hands on that old one. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. He is obviously a hero of legend. He's 100 points, which is still pretty cheap. Okay, still pretty cheap, 100 points. Okay, he has got the move value of 6. He is fight 5, 4+ shoot value, strength 4, defense 5. So a bit tankier than our last one with the defense. He's got 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 5, and he's got 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate. 1 fate kind of sucks, but hey, he's got 3 wounds and he's defense 5. He comes with armor, sword, and the serpent banner. The serpent banner is a 6-inch banner, and he doesn't suffer the -1 penalty for his dual rolls whilst carrying it. You can imagine how effective a 6-inch banner in your army is for 100 points. Plus, you get a hero attached who's a hero of legend, so you get your free stand fast the first time you break. Yeah, pretty tasty. Then, his heroic actions. He's got heroic resolve, heroic march, heroic strike, and heroic challenge. So it's quite rare to see big named heroes to have march, I think. A lot of them don't tend to have march. Obviously, a couple of them do, like Strider and that. But it's nice to have him having march. And he's got strike if he needs to strike up there. You can give him an armoured horse for 15 points, which you always kind of want to do, because you can get that banner to different locations quicker. On top of that, if you do get stuck in combat, getting the knock to the ground bonus is fantastic. He's got bow with poison arrows for 5 points. I never bring it, but if you got a spare 5 points, why not? And his special rules are he's got poison sword, so he's re-rolling 1s to wound against anything. Yeah. Ascended, so the range of his standfast is 12 inches rather than 6. So he's got one of those big standfasts. He's really good. Courage 5 as well, so you can't really go wrong with this guy. I bring him, of course, for his Hero of Legend buffs. So the passing the first failed, the broken test. Then, of course, he's got a 6-inch banner, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then he can really do some damage on the charge, because he is strength 4. Okay. He can run in there, and if you've got the Betrayer, which is the ring wraith you can bring with these guys, he can be re-rolling all failed wounds. It can be quite tasty. Yeah, he's got strike, so if you need to get up there, that's pretty handy to have. Yeah, there's not really a bad word to say about this guy. He's not the most killy hero, but he's definitely a fantastic support hero, and he can do some chop if you do pull something like Contest of Champions. Okay, so there we go. That's him. Moving on to our number 1 slot. It's of course got to be the Witch King of Angmar. Oh, my boy. Oh, I love it. I love him so much. Okay, he's of course a hero legend if you don't bring him in Barad-dûr, because, you know, Sauron's rocking about at that point, so, you know. But Angmar, all that good stuff. Hero of legend, doing all this good stuff. And the reason I love this guy so much is, of course, he's the Witch King of Angmar. So, he's awesome. And everyone's scared of the Witch King of Angmar. He is a very terrifying person. But he can be as cheap or as expensive as you really want him to be. Okay, he starts at 70 points. You can bring him just a naked Witch King of Angmar, 70 points. So the cheapest of all of our heroes of legend so far. Not that I suggest you bring him like bare bones, but you can. He can go up to 150 points though, and the way that works is he spends 5 points to increase his might, will, or fate. Okay, and we'll go over that when we go over it. The stat line. So we're going to jump into the move. He's 6, fight 5, 4+ shoot value, strength 4, defense 8, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 6, and he starts with 0 might, 10 will, and 0 fate. But you can bump it up to, if you go fully maxed out, 3 might, 20 will, and 3 fate. Yeah, very, very customizable. I tend to go for at least 2 might, 2 fate. Minimum, if you want to try and bring him as cheap as chips, because at the end of the day, that's still, you know, not that much. It's still 100 points or so. Then he comes with heavy armor and a sword. He's got heroic resolve, heroic channeling, heroic strike, strength, and challenge. Obviously, challenge being the best one out of the lot. No, I'm joking. He can have an armored fell beast for 70 points. I don't recommend bringing an armored fell beast because an extra 20 points over a normal fell beast, so 50 points for a normal fell beast, you get +1 defense. It doesn't really seem worth it to me, but I might be wrong. If you had really good results with bringing him on an armored fell beast, do let me know. You can give him the Crown of Morgul for 25 points. I would say this is almost a must bring if you want to do anything really, but if you're playing really low point game, so I'm talking like 350 or below, you can get away with not having it, but I'd still try and get it on him. You can have an Armoured Horse for 15 points, a Normal Horse for 10 points, the Morgul Blade for 10 points, and a Two-Handed Flail for 5 points. So you can see what I mean. He's super highly customizable. You can have him an ultimate killing machine where you give him a bunch of might, some extra will, extra fate. You can stick him on an Armoured Fell Beast and give him the Crown of Morgul with a Morgul Blade. Or you can have him running around with just a horse and maybe an extra might and fate. Yeah, completely customizable. So the Crown of Morgul is fantastic. Not only does it increase his attacks to 3, he also gets to re-roll one of his casting dice or resisting dice. That is really powerful because some of his spells go off on like a 2+, like Drain Courage, which is one of my favourites. And you never know, you're going to roll that one. The chance that you get to re-roll it is fantastic, plus having 3 attacks is phenomenal, as you can imagine. The Morgul Blade you can use once per game. You have to declare it at the fight phase before rolling to wound, and if a model using the Morgul Blade, they must direct all their strikes against a single target, so you can only target one. You can't like put a strike on like 4 different dudes. Okay, and if the enemy suffers a single wound, they are slain. Yeah, pretty tasty, especially if you've got like knocked to the ground bonus and things like that. Yeah, very scary. Harbinger of Evil is one of his special rules, so he's got a 12-inch aura of -1 courage to the enemy. He causes terror, but he's got Will of Evil, so each time he's in combat he loses a point of will, and if he's ever reduced to 0 will, he dissipates from the battlefield. And yeah, that's it. The other rule is the Might, Will and Fate thing, and of course we've got the magical powers. So we've got the Drain Courage, which I just went is a 2+, and it's a 12-inch range. That's really hard to get away from. Transfix on a 3+ at a 12-inch range is also ridiculously hard to get away from. And you can just do that each turn. If you've got like a bunch of will, 18 will on this guy, and you're just rolling a dice with a reroll, you're going to get rid of people's will quite quickly. He's got Compel on a 4+, 12 inches. Instill Fear, 3 inches on a 4+. Your Staff is Broken, which I have yet to use, but it sounds cool. 12 inches, 4+. And then, of course, he's got Black Dart, Sap Will. They're both 5+, 12-inch range. So you've got a caster here. And he can be a beat stick, and he's a hero of legend, and you can customize him. There's the only downside, he's got 1 wound. So if you do take a wound and you don't give him any fate, yeah, well, you've lost your leader. Unless you bring another hero of legend, just don't make him your leader. Well, hey, there you go, big brain moves. That's it, really. Yeah, they're my top 3 picks. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or if you disagree, if you think I missed anyone. But bear in mind, don't tell me Galadriel was missing from the list or anything like that, because remember, this is for the armies of the Lord of the Rings, evil half. Okay, so there will be more. If you like the video, do hit the like button, and if you're feeling especially saintly today, do consider subscribing. But even if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Thank you for watching my video. Just a quick shout out and a thank you to my Patreons. If you want to help the channel in any way to grow and help me bring out bigger and better content, like more battle reports and things like that, then do consider signing up and joining the Shadow Cult. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.